Should we crack on?
Yeah. I didn't go into this with any high hopes because I don't see the point of remaking something that's already been done very well, and I was really pleasantly surprised with it. I genuinely had a great time watching it.
It's not like they've sort of approached it from a new angle like Maleficent. They're not trying to sort of tinker with it. It's just very much a remake of The Jungle Book.
I was going into this thinking it's going to be a CGI heavy, pointless mess. And the CGI actually was actually really, really well done. I believed in the jungle.
Yeah, because before we went in, you were concerned that it was going to look like that ghastly jungle from Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
Awful.
Shia LaBeouf swinging through the trees.
God, a similar sort of thing, but...
And they didn't. They created a really, I think, immersive world.
A lot of whether the film sort of succeeds or fails is whether you you believe that you're in a jungle with a load of real wild animals, because it's not a stylized version. It's trying to achieve a degree of realism, and it's pulled off really, really well.
Little details in the animals, as you said, like twitching
ears and whiskers and things like that. They look like real.
Yeah.
It looks like a real tiger.
I got to applaud Jon Favreau for creating an exciting world, especially for a story that we feel you know so well. To make you still worried is such an achievement.
Yeah, it's good. I think in terms of story-wise, it essentially hits the same beats as the original Jungle Book, the animated Jungle Book, but they add a bit more depth, I think, to the Mowgli character. With the first one, he's just sort of he's a kind of a little boy. He's just a little boy who's out of place. With this, there's a kind of more emphasis on the human side of his character.
They show the use of the human brain and the tools.
It's good.
I think they separate him brilliantly.
Neel
Sethi. We're not quite sure how you pronounce his second name, but I thought Neel was great.
Yeah.
I've also got to applaud him for the fact that he must have been on a green screen
for months
and assumingly
talking to tennis balls.
Are you alone out here? What are you doing so deep in the jungle?
Bill Murray will probably be the performance that everybody sort of remembers because it's Baloo. Baloo's everybody's favourite Disney character.
Yeah.
And it's kind of daunting because he's like trying to step into the shoes of Phil Harris, who did such a really, really great job with the original movie. It's bound to be worse.
Yeah.
It's just a sort of different performance. Bill Murray's really great. Ben Kingsley, Bagheera.
I really like Ben Kingsley. Had a sense of a sort of world weary, and each character was so well defined, and that partly comes down to the design of them and the voice talent.
King Louis, Christopher Walken, so good.
It's such a departure from the original cartoon.
Yeah.
He is so menacing and funny. He plays it so well. And I thought, Christopher Walken. I love Christopher Walken, but you kind of figure King Louis is going to be up there, and he didn't do it like that.
Yeah, no.
He played it like a mobster, but more than a mobster. So fun.
Yeah, another good point, I think, as well as the fun, the kind of sense of fun that you feel in the film. There's a sense of danger as well
throughout.
Yeah, I think if you've got small kids, they will find it quite tense and quite exciting.
They'll find it, and kids love. There's a mistake too many films these days are making, that let's not have too much violence or death because it's a kids movie.
The 10-year-old me would have loved the giant orangutan chasing a boy through a darkened temple. Scarlett Johannson, very, very fleeting performance. So not a big role.
No, Car is dramatically lesser role than the original movie. Arguably as much impact though. I think the one scene she's in, she's great. Jon Favreau again, wonderful direction where the branches that you see some of them moving and the snakes all over the place.
It's a nice little teased reveal as well for Car, because you get Mowgli sort of walking around in circles lost, and then he holds back and then you get these little glimpses of the snake, and then finally, and arguably the one voice negative.
Yeah.
Idris Elba as Shere Khan. And I think initially when I heard that, I thought,
I thought it would
be quite good.
Yeah.
I don't really think Idris Elba's performance works. There's no real... There's no real sense of menace in his voice.
Idris Elba's a really good actor, and as he said, like when you first hear the casting, you're like, oh, I can see that working. He's such an imposing person himself, and you see this menacing tiger because the design of Shere Khan is great.
Yeah,
absolutely terrifying. The moment Idris Elba starts doing the voice, though, it's like, oh, you animals go. I can't even do it. It's
not far.
Yeah, you animals go.
Put a little
down
less
here.
effort in. It seems like a performance with very little enthusiasm. Actually, as well, while we're on the subject of criticisms, not quite just Shere Khan was my one criticism. Again, I think it's not a huge fault, but the final 15 minutes of the movie are the worst 15 minutes of the movie. Particularly as it ends with a dramatic set piece action sequence. That's fine. It's relatively underwhelming. I think part of the problem is it follows fairly closely on after the King Louis sequence, which is so good.
Yeah.
And you get to the end, the kind of confrontation with Shere Khan, and it doesn't whimper. It doesn't go out with a whimper, but it feels almost like it's just a case of, I'll just wrap it up now.
That's
and
right.
the ending seems to kind of come out of nowhere. Goodness sake, if you go, stay and watch the credits.
To the very end.
The most entertaining credits I've ever seen.
Without you will not know who anyone who worked on this film is, because there is so much to look at.
You won't be reading any of the names.
And then stay to the very end, because maybe the funniest thing about the movie is as it rolls up, it says, filmed entirely in downtown LA. It's a silly question, and we clearly did, but did you enjoy The Jungle Book?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
It was really, really good fun.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. It's not without its problems, one voice doesn't quite work and the climax doesn't quite live up to the rest of the movie, but pretty much the entirety of it's a pleasure to look at and spend time in. And if this is a sign of future Disney live-action adaptations...
Well, I think it's noticeably a step up in quality from the previous Disney live-action remakes.
I've got to say, you must stay for the little stinger at the end. Samuel Jackson, as the fairy godmother turns up and Mowgli turns around. It's great. They're going to bring them all together.
They're going to bring them all together.
It's going to be Mowgli.
It's going to be a little wooden puppet. It's going to be a beast.
There's going to be a little mouse detective with a pipe.
And they're all going to come together and they're going to fight.
Welcome to WrestleMania!